What's going on, everyone? So, we got some new photos and set leaks for the upcoming Scream 7. The one that you see on screen right now should be the ambulance one, which you've already seen. I've already shared in a video, but I'm going to get into the other ones that we got. But we know now that this is Pine Grove, right? Indiana, that's where they're going to be. It's going to be taking place in Indiana. Is the entire movie going to be in Indiana? Is it going to take place in other places? That I don't know. So there were original like kind of rumors because again everything's a rumor until it's confirmed. There were rumors that this would take place in multiple locations, right? Which I do think kind of makes sense because you got to think like everybody just Sydney and everybody's just what living in Indiana now? Probably not, right? Like so it's probably something where, they're a little in New York where that's where Chad and Gail and everyone is, and then maybe they're a little in what because I think Sydney was in Seattle, right? Maybe they're a little in Seattle, and then maybe they're a little over here and over there, and then the kind of back end or bulk of it maybe takes place in Indiana, or it's always possible Sydney maybe moved to Indiana or something like that, and that's where everyone ends up leading to at some point. But I could see maybe kind of like the main story around like Sydney and her daughter and stuff that taking place in Indiana, and then like you kind of just jump here, you jump there to see Chad and see Gail and to see all these other characters, right? But got some police vehicles, some vehiculars, and as you can see, Indiana. It says Indiana Police on it. And then again, these are photos from the upcoming Scream movie. This was I saw this from Brittany Vinyl over on X. I think this is something that again, just nice little photos. Nothing like crazy. It's nothing that like it's just literally just cop cars and ambulances, but still gives you kind of a little nice peek because you know that there's going to be a lot of death, going to be a lot of carnage. So with that, guess what you're going to get? You're going to get a lot of police and ambulance. So, you want to have the nice aesthetic. You want to have the nice look. And yeah, so you got like, again, dial 911. You have Indiana plates on it, 606, which is awesome. And then again, Pine Grove is the place. It's the destination. Again, you can see the Pine Grove on the back of this police car. With the Pine Grove police kind of like badge on the right where it says 618, and then again the license plate Indiana. So clearly, a lot of this film is going to take place in Pine Grove, Indiana. Is it also possible that could Pine Grove just be like a small like place, right? Is it just kind of maybe like it's just the opening scene or something, and that's what they got here, or maybe it's just like maybe that's where Chad's at, and it just got here, right? Like there's again till we actually get all the deets and find out exactly. Just always take the stuff with a grain. But clearly there is a place called Pine Grove, where we saw what was it Fallbrook? There was that insane asylum, that was called Fallbrook that somebody's that a patient's supposed to escape from and all that stuff. So we've seen two different names of places. So I wonder if again is that there is like Fallbrook, in another town in Indiana? Is it like somewhere even further? Is it back in like California? Is it like there's a lot that we're still gonna have to unpack here. And obviously we'll see once we get to the actual movie. But again, with Sydney, I'm curious to see where this takes place, where they actually have her living. Could we get something where maybe it is in Seattle? Like say it starts in Seattle, Sydney and her children are attacked, and then she ends up going to Indiana, right? Because the thing is that like we have Sydney, her daughter, and her friends. So I guess even that might not work, right? Wherever Sydney's at, that's where one, the movie's going to take place, and two, that's where like because again you don't just have like if you just had Sydney and her family, then it'd be very different. But you have Sydney, her family, and like her daughter, all of Tatum is her daughter's name. Tatum's friends, right? They've hired a bunch of friend groups and stuff, and the neighbor and the neighbor's kid and all that stuff. Like, you don't do all that if you aren't, going to have this be centered with Sydney in the town that she's in. So my guess is that there's probably other locations, but maybe they're all like within Indiana. Maybe they explain. I just think it'd be stupid if everybody's in Indiana, right? Like Gail went from being in New York to like now she's in Indiana, right? Like why? Is it because of Sydney? Maybe after her attack, but then why is Chad there, right? What happened to the core four, right? Like it's just, I don't know. I feel like it could get a little silly if just like everyone's just randomly in Indiana, and it's like, like we never knew that before then, because it wasn't like Sydney. It's not like we didn't know where Sydney was. I mean, even the directors and stuff confirmed where Sydney was, right? Because we all thought it was like Chicago originally, and then they were like, no, she's in Seattle, right? So it's like, okay, so that's where she's at. She at Seattle. Okay, cool, right? So if you're gonna have this primarily take place where Sydney's at, then again, it's gotta. Is that where she's at? It's the Pine Grove, but then. Are we going to get a little New York? Are we going to get a little, whatever, California? Are we going to get several different locations? Obviously, once Ghostface attacks start happening and stuff, sure. Like, you can make it make sense, right? I'm talking about, like, before then, right? Because if Sydney gets attacked, okay, fine, it makes sense. Gail would go to try to help her, solve the mystery, blah, 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 right? Same thing with Chad, right? If Sydney gets attacked, maybe she needs help, and Chad and Mindy end up showing up to help, right? Like, so it'd be easy to kind of get everyone there. So do you not see everybody until after? Does that mean Sydney is like the opening scene, right? Maybe she's the opening attack. Obviously, they're not going to kill her because she's the main focus of the film, but could they maybe do something where she's the opening attack and then that funnels everybody? Like I said, I'm trying to work through this in real time, right? I'm obviously making the video, but trying to, piece together some of this stuff because, if it's going to be in Pine Grove, right? Like I said, I think it's got to make some sense. At the end of the day, look, it doesn't matter where it's at. Obviously, I want there to be multiple shots and multiple locations, right? Like I've talked about it before, like when Scream, like even especially the classic ones. I think Scream 5 and 6 has done a better job, particularly Scream 6 did a much better job of like not keeping everything so boxed in, right? Like you had, the shrine room, you had the bodega, you had all these, the apartment, you had, the college campus, the frat part, like you had all these different scenes and sets and Subway and all that stuff, right? Like I like that. Right? Like some of the Scream movies, you'll see it's like very in a box. Like Scream 2 is very in a box. Everything, like no one ever leaves campus, right? Like, everything takes place there. Even when they try to leave, it's like down the street. Like, it's just, you don't get a lot of shots. And so I want this, and I thought Scream 6 did a really good job of like having all these different shots, having all these various shots, right? Like you're in this place, and then you're in this place, and then you're over here, and now we're over here, right? Like I want them to continue that. I want them to continue to just have, multiple shooting locations, right? And it seems to be getting that. We're going to get a bar, right? Like, cool. Give us all these different things. So anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass the question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? What do you think of the photos first? Secondly, what do you think of where they're going to be located at? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it either way, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.